Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like watching and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen folks, there's a link tree down below. Has links to all of my social media platforms. Please go down there, follow me across all my social media platforms and talk to me because I'll talk back. Also down there as well as links to all of my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Listen folks, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a live radio show. We'll be talking about the New York Jets. We'll be talking about the draft. We'll be talking about the roster. We'll be talking about it all. Listen, I take live callers. Call in. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. So with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about the disrespect the disrespect that the national media gives the New York Jets. It's insane. According to the national media in an article that was recently written, the Jets didn't sign anybody in free agency. They signed a bunch of nobodies, okay? This is what we're being told now, all right? And what's crazy about this is that as long as I've been a Jets fan, which has been all my life, this disrespect from the national media has been consistent. I'm going to put our beat aside because, yes, I know I'm going to have people saying, hey, our beat's pretty bad too. Yeah, we've seen some very questionable or bad moments from the beat, right? But the national media just consistently dumps on the New York Jets. There's nothing that we can do right ever, no matter what we do. And we're going to discuss this. So the article came out and basically said that we basically signed a bunch of nobodies. It said, there was an NFL executive, wasn't named. He said, hey, the Jets were in on a bunch of people, a bunch of top-tier free agents, but they signed nobody. They didn't get anybody. The article also talked about Tyreek Hill deciding to go to Miami and that, a lot of people around the league, a lot of players around the league, one of the big issues is Zach Wilson. They don't know what he is, so they have big question marks about him. And the Jets just can't sign anybody. They're not getting any good guys, a bunch of, low-tier free agents. And I'm like, whoa. I'm sitting back and I'm reading this and I'm like, wait a minute. Are you guys talking about the same team that I'm a fan of? The same team that wears green and white and plays in MetLife? We didn't get anybody in free agency. Zach Wilson is a big question mark around the league, but because Tyreek Hill chose Miami, does anybody remember that Tua plays in Miami? Tua is one of the biggest question marks in the league as well. Okay? You want to talk about question marks. That guy's as up and down as you get. All right? And he's been a big question mark there since he was drafted. When he wasn't hurt, then his plays up and down. If you ask any Dolphins fan, most of them will tell you that he's one of the biggest hindrances to that offense progressing. Tua's not a good quarterback. He's trash. I'm sorry. He's not very good. It is what it is. But to sit here and act like he's just some guy drawing in free agents that everybody around the league just can't wait to go play with Tua is insane. That's completely wrong. All right? Listen, Tyreek Hill decided to go be a Miami Dolphin. That's his business. There's a lot of talk about other things outside of, that's going on in Miami that he would enjoy and he wants to go play there. That's fine. But don't sit here and dump on the Jets because he decided to pick them. And as a Jets fan standpoint, if you don't want to come here and play here, you don't want to wear green, I don't want you here. Go ahead and go do whatever it is that you want to do, right? But then you look at the situation. And I'm reading this situation, and I'm saying, oh, we didn't sign anybody in free agency? We didn't get anybody? Just a bunch of nobodies? Really? Okay, let's look at what we did here in free agency. Laken Tomlinson. Anybody remember him? He was one of the highest rated guards going into free agency, right? I mean, he was one of the guys that people were constantly talking about. Pro Bowl guard. Done a lot of great things in this league. Guess what? He's going to be wearing green next year. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we signed him. I don't know if the guy that wrote that article knows that. But, yeah, we signed Laken Tomlinson. He's going to be wearing green. He's going to be coached by Sully. He's going to be playing in MetLife. Oh, yeah, he's going to be there. Guess what? He's a top free agent, okay? He also filled a huge need that we needed as well along our offensive line at that guard spot. All right? What are you guys talking about? This guy's a Pro Bowl guard. He's a great scheme fit, very, very familiar with our offensive system. Oh, by the way, he hasn't missed a game in 3 years. This is a great signing by Joe Douglas, but national media decides to disrespect us. What about C.J. Uzomah? Tyler Conklin, 2 tight ends that we got in free agency. C.J. was one of the better tight ends in the free agency class. We had a huge hole at tight end. Haven't had a legitimate threat at tight end for years. And guess what? Joe Douglas went out there this year and shored that up. What do you think he said the second that he got in green during his press conference when he got in here? One of the biggest things he said was the reason why he came to the New York Jets is because he loved what we were doing. He loves the direction that we're going, and he loved what we have in place. He loves Joe Douglas. He loves Robert Saleh. He is fired up to be here. He was attracted to come here because of how we're handling business. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about? Then we got DJ Reed as well in free agency, a young ascending corner. You don't think that he had a bunch of other teams that were vying for his services? He chose the New York Jets. By the way, he's a scheme fit as well. Very familiar with Robert Saleh too. What about Jordan Whitehead, the safety? Anybody remember him? He was a very high-rated safety as well in free agency. People were constantly talking about him. This guy played with the Bucks, 4-year starter, Super Bowl winner, played in the game with the torn labrum, gutted it out, right? He was one of the top safeties in free agency. He's going to be wearing green and white as well. What are you guys talking? Like, what are we talking about? All these signings that I just named were scheme fits, guys that can come in and they filled positions of extreme need for us. What are you guys talking about? How are you sitting back looking at what we've done in free agency and saying, oh, the Jets didn't get anybody? What are you talking? This is just hate, to be completely honest. But this is not new. As a New York Jets fan, I've been a Jets fan my whole life. Guess what? This is not new for me. Not new at all. Because this has been the norm for quite some time where if you're in the national media, you just can dump on the Jets at will and nothing, it doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm going to take it back a little bit because like I said, I've been a Jets fan for a long time. I want to go back to the days of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Anybody remember that time? If you don't, let me break it down for you. There was a year here when Ryan Fitzpatrick was here with Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker. We had some guys here. Set franchise records offensively for us here, right? We didn't make the playoffs. We're going into the next year, and Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to be a free agent. Now, if you watch that season and you watch Ryan Fitzpatrick, he wasn't very good. But we ran into a lot of teams. We had a very soft schedule. We ran into a lot of teams with a lot of injuries. I was one of the guys literally screaming from the top of the mountain, screaming, do not re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. Don't do that. He literally held our franchise hostage in the offseason. You had every single person in the national media, particularly Teddy Bruschi on ESPN. I'll never forget him sitting there literally saying that the New York Jets need to pay Ryan Fitzpatrick whatever he's asking for because if they don't, they're idiots. They should never let a guy like that get away. Look at the numbers he did. Look at the records he set. Look at all this other stuff. And I said, do not sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. I told anybody that would listen to me, do not bring that guy back here. What he did this season is a complete mirage. That's not who he is. If you re-sign him to a deal and give him the type of money he's looking for, we'll regret it. He was asking for $16 million a season. Mike McCagnon was here, and guess what? He completely caved. Our front office gave in, and they paid him the money that he was asking for. He came back that next season and was the worst quarterback in the league. He was awful. He was awful. And guess what happened? The same people that sat there and told us that if we didn't give him that money, we'd be idiots to let him walk, Teddy Bruschi and all the rest of those guys on ESPN, everybody in the national media, those were the same people that sat in those seats, that looked into those cameras, that stared us in the face and told us that we were idiots for giving him the money because now he's playing like trash for the New York Jets. The same people, the same people. The national media loves to dump on the New York Jets. And that's why I don't pay attention to the national media at all. I don't. I watch these games. I love this team. I have some issues with our beat as well. But I don't pay any attention to national media whatsoever because of stuff like this. To sit back and say that the New York Jets did not have a quality free agency and that we didn't sign some top guys to come in here and play for us is completely wrong. But it's the norm to just disrespect the Jets. Comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. I want to hear from you folks. What are your thoughts about the disrespect from the national media? How do you feel about this situation, the article that was written that the Jets didn't sign anybody? We got a bunch of nobodies, apparently. A bunch of nobodies. Comment down below. Let's go back and forth. You folks have a good one. Peace.